Hi everyone, welcome back to the next episode of Western Mass Turf. As promised, we're going to get into grass types. I wanted to let you know today is Sunday, March 27th. The temperature outside is currently 43 degrees. The soil temperature today is 41 degrees and the 5-day average is 41.8. So still a little cold for that fertilizer, but we can identify our grass types and we can know how to treat them now so we have a great lawn through the season. All right, stay tuned. Thanks. You can notice here that some snowflakes are flying around and winter's trying to hold on as much as possible. You can notice my backyard has many different grass types and they're all in various states right now. Luckily for me and for you, my lawn has been used as a test plot for many different grass types and cultivars over the last 10-12 years. Here we have a picture of 3 different growing and spreading patterns of grass here in Western Mass. First is Rhizomerus, which creates rhizomes under the soil to create daughter plants. Second is bunch or tillering grasses that stay together and produce tillers. Last is stoloniferous, which creates stolons above ground to create daughter plants. Kentucky bluegrass and fine fescues spread by rhizomes. Perennial ryegrass and tall fescue will tiller. Bentgrasses puts out stolons. Newer cultivars of tall fescue can put out rhizomes, but are not far spreading. Zoysia grass has the ability to spread by both rhizomes and stolons, which makes it very aggressive. Another way of identifying grass types is looking at the inflorescence. This is when the grass goes to seed and puts out a type of flower. The most common one that we see is the panicle, which is put out by bluegrasses. In fact, annual bluegrasses will start to put out their panicle formation sometime in May. As far as desirable grass types here, we have Kentucky bluegrass, perennial ryegrass, fine fescue, tall fescue, bentgrass, and zoysia. Bentgrass is a general term for 3 types of grasses here in Western Mass. We have colonial bentgrass, we have creeping bentgrass, and on a rare occasion you'll see velvet bentgrass. Right now, bentgrasses are still in a quasi-dormant stage and will not produce green, lush growth until later in May. A lot of people think it's dead, but it's still waking up in the dormant season. It is notorious for having a shallow root system. Fine fescue is another blanket term for a type of grass that we have. Fine fescue can be broken down into different categories as well. We have red fescue, chewing fescue, hard fescue, and sheep fescue. It can be identified by its needle-like blades. Has a decent root system, but is also slow to grow and green up. You may see this turn dormant in the summertime and think it's dead. Another desirable turf type that we have is Kentucky bluegrass, otherwise known as Poa pratensis. It is a perennial grass that is desired in most New England lawns. It is identified by its boat-shaped blade, which has a rounded tip at the end, and a line going through the middle of the blade. It's starting to push new growth now and will start to green a little more rapidly than your bent grasses and your fine fescues, but still give it some time. Here we have tall fescue, or more importantly, turf-type tall fescue. It has a thicker blade, it has a great root system, and does better in the summertime for water. It has a reddish hue to the stem. It can stand out amongst other grasses, but newer cultivars of turf-type tall fescue more closely resemble ryegrasses. This is one of my favorite types of grasses. Perennial ryegrass is another desirable turf here in Western Massachusetts. It does not have that boat-shaped blade like Kentucky Bluegrass, nor does it have that center line. This time of year can be tough to identify since it's unfurling and creating a little crease in its blade. Last, we have Zoysia Grass. It can be a controversial grass, either you love it or hate it. It's mainly meant for warmer temperatures, but can be tolerant to our winters and survive and green up later in June. It requires warmer weather to produce more tillers, rhizomes, and stolons and blades. Once it is green, it is very thick and desired by many people in western Massachusetts. It's also known for drought tolerance. So now that we know our grass types, what can we expect from them through the course of the season? Well, different grass types belong in different microenvironments. Your fine fescues are going to do better in shady areas. They don't like having intense sun. Your sunny ones are going to be bluegrasses, tall fescues, zoysias, and somewhat rye. Rye is notorious for going pretty dormant in the summertime without irrigation. So keep that in mind when you're planting perennial rye. As far as fertilization practices, Kentucky Bluegrass requires about 4 pounds of nitrogen through the course of the season. Ryegrass, tall fescue, and zoysia, and bentgrass requires about the same amount of input. Fine fescue is a weird one though. It requires 0 to 1 pounds of nitrogen through the course of the season. So Brent, I have fine fescue amongst my bluegrass and ryegrass. Is that going to be a problem? No, it won't. It's a slow-growing grass, and it doesn't feed very rapidly, but consider a program that has some quick-release nitrogen and some slow-release nitrogen. Your bluegrasses will thank you, especially because they're the hungriest of our grass types here in western Massachusetts. As far as mowing practices go, right now we can get away with 2 to 2.5 inches because, well, it's still trying to wake up. And as we go out through the course of the season, remember to raise that mow height. Anyway, that's our grass types in western Massachusetts. And remember, enjoy your lawn, even if you have a lot of grass types in it. Thanks for listening. Take care. Have a good one. As far as desirable grass types here, we have Kentucky Bluegrass, Perennial Rye Grass, Fine Fescue, Tall Fescue, Bentgrass, and Zoysia.